Hi everyone, my name is Julie. This is Keep Calm with Books and Coffee, and today I'm going to be reading very pretty Illumicrate books. Hi everyone, so I do not know what happened to the first clip of this vlog. It's gone. It is missing, and I do not know where to find it. So I'm just going to quickly tell you what I talked about in the initial clip, and that was that we're going to talk about Illumicrate books today. I've had a Illumicrate subscription for about a year now. I subscribed last October when I got off the wait list, and I've gotten about 6 of the boxes over the past year, and I've also ordered a couple of special editions outside of that. So I have bought a lot of pretty books, but I haven't read a lot of pretty books. So I have 3 here today that I wanted to read and try before the end of the year, both because 2 of them have sequels coming out that I have purchased, and also because the other one was one I had heard mixed things about and I was really interested to try. The first one was The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. This was the reason I subscribed to Illumicrate in the first place. I really wanted to get this book because I was so excited for this release, and now it's been a year and I haven't read it. I also have the second book here and I really want to read it. So this being the reason that I got this subscription, I decided to pick this up. I also got The Witch King by Martha Wells, which is the one that I've heard kind of mixed things about and wasn't sure about, but I really wanted to try because I love Martha Wells' Murderbot series. And then the third one was God Killer by Hannah Kanner because the sequel is coming out early next year, and I also wanted to read this before the pre-sale started so that I could try and see if I wanted to purchase the sequel, I mean. So these were the 3 that I was kicking off this vlog with. Like you can see, they're very pretty. I'm going to try to show you, to the best of my ability, more of how pretty they are. Also in that initial clip was my introduction of God Killer to you, because this was the first one I read. In this we're following Kissin, who, as the title suggests, is a God Killer. She goes around taking contracts to kill smaller gods because gods are now illegal in the kingdom that she lives in. And she stumbles across a young noble girl who has a god attached to her, and they have to go on a quest to try and figure out why this god is attached, and Kissin wants to separate them and then kill the god. But they also come across a knight who is on a secret quest from the king, and the 4 of them are all traveling in the same direction, so they head off together. But that is what God Killer is about. And now I can throw you back to past Julie, who is actually reading these books and can tell you more about them and also show you how pretty they are in full detail. Hello, so this is my midpoint update on God Killer by Hannah Kanner, and at this point, I don't want to be preemptive, I don't want to be overly, but this could be my favorite book of the year. Like, this has impressed me so much. This has totally grabbed my attention. This book is like not long. It's like less than 400 pages, but I feel like the story is so rich and beautiful. For me, this is working perfectly. We were thrown in at the beginning of the story with an adventure, and there is a lot going on. It grabbed me right from the beginning, where it feels like the world building is not info dumpy at all to me. Like, we're just going on this adventure with these people, and all of them have different motivations, and we're following this group of characters, and we're slowly learning the world along the way and what has happened. Like, there is, history there that we have to learn about, why people are god killers and why this is happening and what the war with the gods was about. But we're slowly learning that over time with our characters as they learn about each other in this posse, and I just love it so much. I love how we're following these characters who all have some kind of rage or some kind of motivation that is so believable and so understandable. I just love it, and I'm so wrapped up in it. I don't want to read anything else. I've kind of been forcing myself to put this down in between books, both because I kind of want to temper that feeling. Is this my favorite book of the year? You know, is it real, or is it just something I'm getting caught up in as I go? And so far, no. So far, it's still like impressing me that much that I want to say that. And I also want to stretch it out because, like I said, it's not long, but a lot is happening. And I feel like these characters are so real on the page that I want to keep spending time with them. There is also so much representation in here as far as disability, PTSD, depression. I just love this. I love what it's doing. I love the world and the characters, like I was saying, and it doesn't hurt that this book is absolutely stunning. Like, I'm sure I've already showed you all the features in this Illumicrate edition, but it is stunning, and I love the audiobook. I wasn't quite sure about the narrator at the beginning, but I've gotten used to her. It's still not my favorite style, but it's working better for me now that I've listened to it a bit longer. So anyway, I'm going to keep going with this, and I will update you probably at the end at this point with my thoughts. Good morning, everyone. So I was hoping to finish God Killer yesterday, but I fell asleep with like 20 minutes to go in the audiobook, so that unfortunately didn't happen. But I did get up this morning, find my place, and listen to the ending again, and I loved this book. I loved it to pieces. Like, everything in this book worked for me. It had a great hook at the beginning. It threw you right into the fantasy world. We really got moving. It had an adventure with a few really interesting characters. It had a lot of female rage in it that always works for me. I also really love the concept of the gods in this book. It's something that harkens back to my love of Tamora Pierce's worlds, that like there's very specific gods for specific things. They might not be the most powerful gods, but there's like gods for, we're following Skedi, who is a god of white lies and stuff like that. So it's like little niche gods that are really interesting. The magic system is pretty basic, but it's really interesting, and I love watching it work. And just the threads of this story, all of them had me intrigued. So this is a 5-star read for me. Like, this absolutely blew me out of the water. I started this early in the month so that I could know if I should pre-order Sunbringer, and I did order Sunbringer despite not being very far into this book and thinking, I hope I'm doing the right thing. And I am so glad that I got the Illumicrate version, because I loved this book. Like, this is going to be on my top books of the year, and it's going to be up there. Like, I still have to finalize that list. I'm not completely done with, all those plans, but it is going to be high on that list. I just absolutely loved it. And I know just finishing this book that like some of that feeling is going to fade, but also like I felt this way the whole way through the book. The way the story was building, the way the characters were, the way we explored these different themes, the way the plot was moving. I just knew this was going to be a book that worked for me once we got like deeper into the like rhythm of the story. I was like, this is working for me, and I'm going to love this. So excited about this one. Absolutely adored it. I'm thinking about making like a full-length review for a video for this, because I just kind of want to talk about it and talk about all the things I loved. But honestly, this was just fantastic. I'm not disappointed I waited a year to read it, because I feel like that now was the right time, but I wish I had had the time or the feeling sooner to read it, because I loved it to bits. Hello, so it's time to start the Luminaries, and I'm not going to go get it because I just showed you it, so you know what it looks like, and I just didn't bring it down with me when I was going to do this clip. I have started reading this together, both following along in the book and listening to the audio, so this is really enjoyable because, like I showed you, there are illustrations in it. So far, this is the story of Winnie Wednesday, who is a hunter. She is part of the Luminaries, and they are a group that defend humanity from monsters that come out of a dreamer's mind while they sleep. So, not any dreamer, there's one that like creates these monsters, and they come out in a specific forest, and every night hunters go in and stop these monsters from leaving the forest and attacking humanity. So Winnie has wanted to do this her entire life, but her father betrayed them and got them exiled from the Luminaries. So Winnie is not able to do things like she had been previously. Like she hasn't been able to train or join in with her friends. She's a bit of an outcast. But now the hunter trials are coming up that she has to do during the summer of her 16th year. So she has figured out that she can join these hunter trials and go through them even though she is exiled. So Winnie is going to do this, and it is very dangerous and very interesting, and I like it so far, and I can't wait to see where we go from here. I followed along when Suze did this as a Twitter adventure in 2020, and so I am predetermined to like this and be, I have a lot of like nostalgic feelings towards it. I already have a soft heart for it, but I am also really excited to see how things have changed with the book since we went on the Twitter adventure. But that's my update for now. Hello everyone. So consider this the midway update on The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. I'm loving this. Now I think I mentioned that I have a predisposition to love this because I followed the Twitter adventure that Suze wrote on Twitter in 2020, and that was so fun. But so much has changed since we went on that adventure. So much has changed about the book and about everything to do with this story. But this is so fun. This captures what I do still love about YA fantasy, when it can be paranormally and fun, and like this is right up my alley. I love the way, what is her name? Winnie Wednesday is not perfect. She is not necessarily the chosen one. She is smart and capable, and she tackles things. I love how this is inclusive and fun, and kind of nothing's perfect. Everything is questioned, and I just kind of love it. I'm just really having a good time with it. I also really love that the Illumicrate team included illustrations in this of all the different nightmares that are included, and it's just really cool. This is such a beautiful edition, and it has so many fun features, and I really, really love it. Good morning, everyone. So the next book on my Illumicrate blog was going to be The Witch King by Martha Wells. This is the story of Kai, who is a witch king. He is immortal, but he has been murdered or semi-murdered. He wakes up in a tomb and someone is trying to like reanimate his body for their own ends. But Kai overpowers them, and then he starts the search of what has happened, what is going on, why was he killed, did someone betray him, etc., etc. So I was really looking forward to this book because it sounds really cool. It's also a standalone fantasy. But this portion of the vlog is going to be very quick because I read like 50 pages or so of this. I'm so confused. I hate the writing style. I like hate it. It's like turning me off of the book. Like whatever is happening, I don't know because I'm listening to the audio, and I just hate the style. Like I just don't like it. It's not jiving for me. It's very like detached. I'm having a really hard time connecting with any of the characters, and I'm so confused about what's going on. Like at the beginning of this book, I feel like we aren't getting enough explanation. Like we're almost getting the opposite of info dumping, and I almost need some info dumping so that I connect with the story and keep going, because this is only one book. Like if I knew this was a series, I might be able to push through it because I knew more was coming, but because we only have like 450 pages and I'm so confused after 50, I'm like, it's just not for me. I've also, after doing that, after reading like 50 pages, I was talking to some friends who have read it, and they sort of were like, it was sort of a meh book for us, and since I'm like disliking reading it, like I'm not enjoying the experience, I'm gonna DNF it. I don't think I'm gonna get rid of this book because it's absolutely gorgeous, and like maybe I'll try it again someday. Like this is kind of, I don't want to say a soft DNF because I'm pretty sure I'm not, but I'm too attached to the book right now to get rid of it, to sell it or anything. So unfortunately, this one is not going to work out. Hello everyone, so it is the evening. I finished The Luminaries by Susan Dennard this morning. This was such a delight. It is all the things that I do love about YA fantasy, and like it was just perfectly paranormal and perfectly hilarious and snarky and fun. Winnie is a realistic teenage character, which I absolutely love. She's making mistakes. She's fraught with how to fit in at school, how to fit in with friends, how to navigate relationships with people that she isn't getting along with. She's full of fire and fear and hormones, and she's such a delightful character. I absolutely loved her, and I loved all the little extra tidbits that we got that were related back to the Twitter adventure. But even without that, this is just such a fun book and such a fun story. I loved it so much. I cannot wait to read A Hunting Moon, and I'm hoping to get to that either over Christmas break or sometime in the early next year, because I just absolutely loved this and had such a fun time with it. Yeah, but that's my final thoughts on this one. I am thrilled that 2 out of the 3 books that I read for this vlog turned out to be like top books of the year, like 2 5 stars in this vlog. The other was a DNF, so that's unfortunate, but I think 2 out of 3 ain't bad, especially when they're high ratings like that. I loved Godkiller and The Luminaries so much. I'm thrilled I read them. The other books that I have from Illumicrate are a little bit more of a mixed bag. Like I was pretty sure I was going to love Godkiller and pretty sure I was going to love The Luminaries, and the rest of them are sort of more like The Witch King, that I really like the idea of the concept, but I'm not sure if I'm going to love the execution, so we'll have to see. But one of my goals in the new year is to really tackle those and see if I can read more of the ones, because I don't want to keep subscribing if I'm not going to enjoy the books. I've also gotten really critical about which ones I actually keep my subscription for. So yeah, but that is the end of the vlog. I hope you enjoyed me reading some of my Illumicrate books. If you have any thoughts or feelings, or if you want to share anything about the books I talked about today down below, I'd love to hear it. You can like, comment, and subscribe down there. If you don't have anything to add today, you can always leave me a deer emoji. I know it's a skull on this cover, but leave me a deer emoji, or what can work for Godkiller? A horse emoji. There's a horse in Godkiller, so a deer or a horse if you want to. But that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye! So let's jump into which ones I was going to read. The first was the Illumicrates by